to touch on something this morning. I was really careful, or wanted to be careful about the way that I talk about this, because I know that it's touchy. But I think it has to be said, and I don't know that anybody else either has the identity markers, the experience, or even the audacity to say it. But I'm gonna say it. As we are in a phase where most people are getting ready to have, movement in leadership, and I think, particularly women of color, and particularly, yes, I'll leave it right there. And right, the particular groupings within that category. We have to be careful that we aren't leading from a place of finally my turn. Because as I've said in another video, and I don't even know if I done posted it yet by now, but people still have to feel safe in leadership. And just because women of color might be in leadership positions, that doesn't mean that you get to act like you've been treated. And some will say that's not what we're doing, or we're leading from a place of wisdom, or right, all the different ways in which we affirm our approach to the world, or our reasoning around decision making. The same rules that we would have applied to, let's say, the white male heterosexual who is typically or has historically been in positions of leadership, they need to have people around them who can help either hold them accountable and give voice to a group that might be more marginalized. You can't lead in a way that says, "Hi, I told y'all was wrong, and now we got to come in and fix it." Because there are people that did not have the same experiences as you did or we did. And still, even, somebody like myself, I still expect to see, perceive, and experience fair treatment. Because do you know what else is also difficult? It's also difficult to still have that mindset of recognizing that there have been systems and institutions that have not been fair to women of color, but have also still, but still being in that position where you're like, right, you're a part of the privileged group now. You're a part of the group that has power, that has voice, that is allowed to be in the back room, in the secret places where leadership is having a conversation. That still doesn't make you safe. If anything, it actually makes it a little bit more dangerous. So I think in another video I talked about the Willie Lynch letters, and about how enslaved women were trained to condition the children and prepare them to be enslaved. That same decolonization that has to happen in the rest of the world that has been colonized has to still take place in the women of color. So you must be mindful of your indignation. You must be mindful of your triggers, because as we know, and I can say this, and feel free to argue me if you want to, that even your indignation is going to look like mad black woman. Your indignation against repeating your own trauma. Your indignation also, let's not forget, power feels good. So to miss the note that most of the systems, most of the people that have perpetuated those systems and the way that the institutions have dealt with us, that power feels good. So don't forget that you are human too. And now, not the other side of human, like, oh, I'm feeling dehumanized because I'm being mistreated. But let's go to the other side of that, and that is in dehumanizing yourself by making you an unjust God that believes that now is your time to serve judgment and serve people that that weren't the people that hurt you, that weren't the people that were a part of that system. And then, since with under the leadership of women of color, brings in this extra category that we didn't talk about before because other people weren't into that, right? This deeper spiritual, deeper emotional way of showing up is still in some ways your own exertion or your own issuing or distributing of power, and who gets to have power and who no longer gets to use their power, and then the way that you approach disciplinary action, right? Like you have to submit to, and you can't get mad when somebody challenges you on that. Or the rest of us have to wait and let you go home and sleep on it. And then you'll come back and potentially either apologize or not, and literally just continue on as you were, and softly in the back of your mind say, ooh, I probably shouldn't have done that. And take the leadership role and own it, and implement a system that not only protects you and people like you, but also everybody else. I want to dance around it, but at this point it's not. I can't keep dancing around it because nobody's gonna have a chance at coming up against a woman of color who has power. You don't have a chance. And I'm a black woman. I'm many other things besides just that. And I am a black woman, and I know how difficult it is for somebody to bring something to me if they don't come correct. And so I'm working on that in me. And I hope that maybe me saying this or me sharing this, that somebody else might either, have compassion on the women of color who are in leadership around you, and find language, find a heart, find the patience to help us navigate this shift that we're in. Be kind to people. Even if you didn't experience that kindness, be kind to people. Be empowered, and be empowered